We turn now to the ongoing war in Ukraine. President Joe Biden held a video conference with European allies for about an hour and 20 minutes today as his administration considers reversing course on banning Russian oil imports. The United Nations says the invasion of Ukraine is creating the largest growing refugee crisis in Europe since World War II. Skylar Henry has more from the White House.
In the 12 days since Russia invaded Ukraine, oil prices have skyrocketed to their highest levels in more than a decade. Now the Biden administration is considering a ban on Russian energy imports, while also hoping to lessen the pain for Americans at the pump.
No decision has been made at this point. What the president is most focused on is ensuring we are continuing to take steps to deliver punishing economic consequences on Putin.
President Biden discussed Ukraine in a video conference with the leaders of France, Germany, and the United Kingdom, as some European allies also look for ways to cut consumption of Russian oil.
You can't simply close down use of oil and gas overnight, even from Russia.
Ukrainian negotiators say a third round of talks with the Russians have yielded some progress on civilian evacuations. So far, failed ceasefire attempts have upset efforts to create safe corridors. The United Nations says more than 1.7 million people have fled Ukraine since the invasion began.
We are concerned that the world needs to be prepared for a very long and very difficult road ahead.
The Biden administration is in discussions with allies on how to backfill countries like Poland, should Poland fulfill Ukraine's request for more fighter jets.
No decisions have been made. Certainly none that we're aware of by Poland, even.
The Pentagon has ordered 500 more U.S. troops to Europe to bolster NATO's eastern flank, where Secretary of State Antony Blinken is visiting allies.
Our message to Russia, to President Putin, end the war. End it now.
Blinken says there have been no decisions on keeping U.S. forces in the region permanently. Skylar Henry, CBS News, the White House.
And this evening, members of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee are receiving a closed-door briefing on the situation in Ukraine from the State Department officials. And later this week, Congress is expected to take up the Biden administration's request for $10 billion in additional humanitarian and military aid for that country. Well, it was mentioned briefly there, but gas prices continue to skyrocket here in the U.S., fueled in part by Russia's invasion. The national average is now more than $4 a gallon. A typical driver's paying $16 more to fill up than this time last year. By the end of this week, we could see the national average price of a gallon of gas shatter an all-time record that was set at $4.11 a gallon. But with oil prices close to $100 a barrel, U.S. oil producers will start ramping up production soon, though it usually takes about 6 months to turn around all that oil and get it into the pipeline. But it's not just gas we have to be worried about.
We're seeing big supply shocks, right? We're seeing oil prices go up. We're seeing wheat prices go up. Ukraine is the breadbasket of Europe, right? So there is a lot of concern that this is going to make an inflationary problem even worse.
Russia and Ukraine supplied nearly a third of the world's wheat last year, and since the invasion, exports have come to a standstill. That means shoppers could see a rise in prices for items like cereal, bread, and even some meat, because some farmers rely on wheat to feed their livestock. The list of companies cutting ties with Russia is growing longer. Yesterday, Netflix announced it's suspending service in Russia, citing the situation on the ground in Ukraine. TikTok won't let users in Russia live stream or upload videos after Russian President Vladimir Putin signed a law targeting their app. And credit card services, Visa, MasterCard, and American Express all suspended operations in Russia as well. People are booking Airbnbs in Ukraine with no plans of staying there. The initiative, which gained popularity on social media, is a way to get money to Ukrainians impacted by the war. On Friday, the CEO of Airbnb said more than 61,000 nights have been booked in just 48 hours, raising almost $2 million for the hosts in Ukraine. The company is also offering free short-term housing for up to 100,000 refugees.